Top takeaways from Night 1 of RNC by Cooper Talent and Paul Singer. USA Today Cleveland. The Republican convention we're unlikely to soon forget kicked off Monday, and within hours, it was clear this would not simply be a 4-day Donald Trump love fest. Top takeaways from Night 1: The Trumps steal the stage, and maybe the speech Melania Trump came. She saw. She did just fine, or so we thought, and then walked off arm in arm with her husband to thunderous applause and the power chords of Queen's "We Are the Champions." The candidate's young, glamorous wife has been a bit of a mystery this campaign season. She hasn't made many public statements and has been overshadowed on the campaign trail by the Trump children, who have taken active, public roles. Her speech was a kind of introduction to a national audience, and initially at least, she made a perfectly good impression. It was a very vanilla speech, no major attack lines, no surprises, just praise of her husband and a bit of her life story as an immigrant to the United States. However, it was noted shortly after the night ended that a section of Melania Trump's remarks was strikingly similar to a portion of Michelle Obama's 2008 Democratic National Convention speech. Before long, it became clear on social media that the conversation the next morning about her appearance would be focused not on whether she effectively softened her husband's image and boosted his appeal among female voters, but instead on whether the would-be First Lady or her speechwriters plagiarized the current First Lady. It's the last thing the Trump campaign needs after the bumpy running mate rollout and amid an ongoing struggle to unify the Republican Party. See below. It would not be a Trump contest without excitement and drama, Melania Trump remarked Monday, in perhaps the understatement of the night. Never Trump going down swing. Republicans determined to deny the real estate mogul the party's nomination came to Cleveland facing incredibly daunting odds. Those slim hopes became almost non-existent late last week when the Rules Committee decisively shut down an effort to free up delegates to vote for any candidate they choose. Trump himself reveled in the repudiation of his opponents, saying during the introduction of running mate Mike Pence Saturday, "They got crushed." On Monday afternoon, though, the never-Trump forces mounted what may be truly their final bid to challenge the real estate mogul's nomination, calling for a roll call vote on adoption of the rules, which had been deemed approved via voice vote. Seemingly out of nowhere, the floor of the Quicken Loans Arena transformed into a convention scene from another time in American politics, as anti-Trump forces chanted roll call vote, while pro-Trump delegates countered "We want Trump!" sent. Mike Lee, our Utah, the leader of the Rule Challenge, summed up what many were likely thinking at home: "This is surreal." Ultimately, Trump won again, denying his opposition within the party even a symbolic victory, given that he was certain to win the vote on the floor anyway. Goodbye, hello, Cleveland. This is the first convention in Cleveland since This Is Spinal Tap was released in 1984, so none of the speakers have ever had a chance to shout "Hello, Cleveland" from the convention stage. It's an homage to one of the iconic moments of that mockumentary, as the band navigates the backstage corridors searching for the stage door. And yes, all of us have at some point stepped off an airplane at Hopkins Airport and hollered, "Hello, Cleveland." But after the third or fourth convention speaker began their remarks with "Hello, Cleveland," we were ready for the joke to be over. And this was the first couple hours of Monday night. There are 3 more days of this. Let's move on to Cleveland Rocks, please. Anti-Clinton red meat. A large portion of any convention is spent excoriating the other side, and that will likely be especially true in Cleveland. Part of that is because few political figures are more anathema to the GOP base than Hillary Clinton, so much so that anti-Clinton fervor among the delegates may be the one thing that can unite a still divided Republican Party. See above. Those sentiments were on full display Monday night, both in the rhetoric and the selection of speakers. Just a few of the many examples. "I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son," said Pat Smith, whose son, Sean, was one of 4 Americans killed during the 2012 Benghazi attacks when Clinton was Secretary of State. "We cannot afford Hillary in the White House again," said Representative Michael McCaul, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee. "If I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail," said retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who was considered by Trump as running mate. "Crooked Hillary Clinton, leave this race now!" By the way, Trump himself missed some of this. He was doing the telephone interview on Fox News, counter-programming against his own convention. Most nominees go out of their way to avoid trampling on the carefully scripted narrative of a convention. But this candidate? Nag. Charles in charge of our days and our homeland? The theme of Monday was "Make America Safe Again," and the lineup of speakers for the first night of the Republican convention was, well, a bit unconventional. To be sure, there were some familiar GOP faces: former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, former Texas Governor Rick Perry, and Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, among others. Then there were the lesser-known speakers, some elected officials, who enjoyed somewhat surprising starring roles. Ever hear of Montana Representative Brian Zinkoff? Probably not, but you have now after he closed out Monday night's proceedings, assuming you were still tuned in after the Trumps left the stage. And that brings us to our final category, the showbiz speakers, which is arguably a generous description. How will the President Trump make America stronger? Let's hear from former General Hospital star Antonio Sabato Jr. Want someone to bear witness to Trump's commitment to law enforcement and the military. How's Duck Dynasty's Willie Robertson, who assured voters repeatedly Donald Trump will have your back! Lastly, who best to calm an anxious nation that Trump will keep Americans safe? Perhaps someone who knows a thing or two about safeguarding a household. Scott Baio of Charles in Charge fame, to say nothing of Happy Days and Joni Lux Chachi.